Dear Diary, this is part 7 of Christopher's exciting adventurous trip to Bellevue, the homeless center. Day 2, yeah, they harassed the shit out of me. And then at 11 a.m., I meet with the assessors. First person, wasted time. They just say, why are you homeless? I give them the same reason I gave them the day before, which was the truth. Then I get some lunch. Which they give me, which was okay. It was a sandwich with a chicken cutlet or something on it, even though the meat eaters said, I ain't touching that shit. And orange juice and some macaroni salad. It was okay. But what was really upsetting is when I dealt with the assessor asshole, the main one. He asked me a bunch of questions, and then I said, I have a part-time job in Chelsea, which is true. And so it would be best if they could keep me here at 30th Street in Manhattan. He said no. And then he said, you got a choice. Tonight and for the next 2 weeks, you can either stay at Ward's Island or Brooklyn Atlantic. Now, both of those are terrible choices and completely brainless. But remember, who runs the system? The dumbest fucking asshole in American history. A guy so fucking stupid, Mike Bloomberg. So fucking stupid that when he ran for mayor in 2001, even his fans never used the word intelligent, or smart, or any of those things. It was always about how he had no personality, but he was rich, so he must know what he was doing. It was always, this guy's rich, he must know what he's doing. He must be great with money because he's rich. No one, even his fans, ever referred to him as intelligent, smart, funny, none of these things. Because he isn't. He's a retard. I've met very few people as stupid as Mike Bloomberg. Now, you could say, well, he got rich, so he must be real smart. No, you don't have to be. Some people are born rich. Did you know that? Some people are born rich. Would you say, oh, Prince Williams, he had to be real smart to become rich. No, he didn't. You say, now Mike Bloomberg made none of his money legally. He just played by the rules, said this is the path to becoming rich. And as everyone does, any asshole could become a broker, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Been to the Wall Street drone. Doesn't require much, just requires having no soul. To get rich in America, all you have to do is have no principles. It doesn't require intelligence in most fields. Same with politics. You don't have to be smart to get ahead in politics. You just have to know how to kiss ass and have no scruples or honesty. So Bloomberg is a dumb motherfucker. Remember, none of his businesses turn a profit. He just knows when you make money, you bribe others. And then those others will help you. And you scratch each other's backs as you rape the people. This shit is older than the hills. So this guy was a fucking dickhead. He says, you can go to Ward's Island. Now, Ward's Island, everyone told me, all the other homeless guys I was interviewing and stuff told me, oh, that place is fucking horrible. Crime, a lot of crime. They say, well, you're in the shower, somebody's breaking into your locker and smashing the lock open. It's all crackheads, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that's the current case. None of them had been there in like the last year. So it's possible it's better. I don't know. I'm being a brave motherfucker, and your favorite investigative reporter, I am going to go up there and check it out at least once. So that was my choice, and instead of Brooklyn, because both suck. I mean, I pointed out to him, I said, because sometimes they pay your car fare, and he gave me a little envelope with $2.50 in it. I said, why not just give me a MetroCard like you normally give? And he said, I don't know why. When I asked a kid later, he said, that's because MetroCards they had are $4.50, and this is a one-way. It's like, well, yeah, but they have one-way paper MetroCards. Wouldn't that be more efficient than creating little envelopes that have to be stuffed with cash and then stapled? Yeah. Well, remember, Bloomberg is notorious as the god of waste. Burp. And remember, the only Bloomberg business that's successful is the one he didn't create. That should tell you something. Backtracking there, sorry. Yeah. So I said, I again reminded the guys, like, I work in Chelsea. You wouldn't have to give me any car fare because I could just go, I could walk there from here to work on my part-time job. And the guy was a dickhead, which that's how you can tell when someone's lying, when they're kind of a dickhead. If they weren't lying, he would have said no, and here's why. And then finally, when I finally pressed him, he said, I said, why can't I stay here? You got hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of beds here. And that would make more sense. Now, remember, before I even met this guy, my hunch was that they were going to do this. Why? Because that would facilitate Bloomberg, Republican piece of shit, neo-Nazi, his hatred of the poor and the weak. And so by sending them to a fucking island in the middle of nowhere, you're going to discourage them from using the city services that you have to, by law, provide. So, therefore, in air quotes, you choose to live under the bridge. You say, oh, we try to help the homeless, but they're mentally ill. They don't want to live in the shelters. Nice try. And a lot of the reporters believe that crap. So I assumed they were going to do this before they did it. But when I asked him, the only thing he came up with was, he said, oh, we save this location for people 50 and older. So, dear diary, I, your intrepid reporter and fearless reporter, is going to go to Ward's Island at least once so I can report about it. The world can know where $800 million of their tax money is disappearing every year. Where's that money going? It will be cheaper to buy every homeless person a condo. So where's the money going? We all know where the money's going. But the media won't talk about it. So remember, it doesn't make a difference how corrupt the government is. If the media distracts you, well then there's no checks and balances and the government will just continue to rape and rob you. Remember, journalists are the greatest evil mankind will ever see. So, now, even if what he said was true, the assessor could say, oh, no, we try to keep it for the older guys here so they could be closer to whatever. It's like, what? Now, that's stupid. Because remember, they're going to have to pay for me to go to my workplace. So they're just wasting your tax dollars. Ding, ding, ding. And then, of course, the MetroCard was a complete racket. Don't get me started on that. Complete snow job. They stole tens of billions from you suckers. But you say, but don't listen to me. Just keep trusting the government because they're never going to lie to you. Politicians don't lie. That's what the newspapers say every day. Politicians don't lie. Believe what we tell you and believe what the politicians say. It's even worse because then he admits, he says, I said, so what's going to happen then? He said, you'll go up to the Bronx. I said, have you been there? Can you describe it? Is it not the Bronx? It's almost in the Bronx. Well, it's almost like the bottom tip of the Bronx, east side of Harlem. Ward's Island, which is part of Randall's Island, not far from Rika's Island. And he said, you'll be there for 2 weeks to be assessed. It's like, you guys are assessing me right now. Boy, this should be called an assessment festival. He said, you'll be assessed for 2 weeks, then you'll be shipped to another smaller shelter around the city. Really? Okay, now, first of all, Ward's Island is a problem because I won't be able to get any work done. I can't bring the laptop. I probably won't be able to plug into a wall. Everyone said it'd be dangerous to bring your laptop there. So, also, you're not supposed to be in the shelters between 8 and 4 p.m. Now, if you're on an island in the middle of nowhere, does that make a lot of sense? It's a setup. It's a fucking scam by a Republican neo-Nazi. Oh, this is amazing, too. I just found this out since. Yes, I was in the world-famous Bellevue for only one night, and it is from 1736. Holy shit. And Bloomberg last year tried to take it over and get rid of it to build luxury hotel there. Ding, 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 ding. It's prime real estate. He doesn't want people staying in that shelter. You can't build luxury condos on Ward's Island. It's too fucking far away. Nobody wants to live near Harlem. But you can build it on First Avenue in Midtown Manhattan. Prime real estate. That's the plan. The mayor wants to steal money and line his friends' pockets. I can tell you billions of horror stories, and you think I'm exaggerating, even billions. No, remember, the mayor has $70 billion every 12 months to spend however he fucking feels like. And he does. And the amount of corruption in there is something none of us can tally. Now, he's been doing this for 10 years. Do the math. Again, when I tell people I can name millions of scandals right off the top of my head of City Hall government, they go, millions. Yeah, I can name millions with the police department, asshole. That's one city agency run by the mayor. I mean, if you want to get technical, I could probably list trillions. Example, every time anybody smashes into a pothole, that's a scandal. Because the mayor was in charge of making sure there were no potholes. But you forget that fact. Every time you see rust on city bridges, that's a super duper scandal. because now we have to pay 10 times more to sandblast the bridge. Plus, they used lead paint. So now we have to have a containment system. You don't know any of the facts. I know more about government than anybody in this fucking city. You can ask me about any topic, and I will go on for hours and hours and hours. You go, holy fuck, he might have been telling the truth about him knowing more than anyone else. Holy fuck. That's right. You don't know these things. So when will you fucking trust me? So I'm going to go to Ward's Island. I'm going to guess it's a pile of shit to some extent because they want it to be a pile of shit. They want to discourage the homeless from using homeless shelters because they kept losing in federal court. So you use whatever dirty tricks you can. That's what government does. So it's going to fuck up my shit. I got my referral. I didn't go on the first night because I had to drop off some stuff with a friend and didn't. It's boring information. I didn't go on night 1 or night 2. I'm hoping my recommendation papers will still be fine because you can't trust these fucking assholes. And you have to make sure everything is super duper idiot proof when you're dealing with the Bloomberg administration, the most corrupt in American history, which isn't saying much. I mean, which is saying a lot, but I really believe that I could prove he's running the most corrupt administration in recorded history. You don't know anything about him compared to the Nazis, him versus Stalin. Example, in Rikers, Bloomberg has us wake up at 4 in the morning for breakfast. Now, why would I need breakfast at 4 in the morning? Turns out Stalin woke everybody up at 6 a.m. The gulags treated people better than Mike Bloomberg. You didn't know that. You don't know anything. So why would you doubt me if you don't know anything? Yikes. And everything the city does is a lie. I've never caught the city telling the truth. It's fucking outrageous how bad these motherfuckers are. Example, you'd be in Rikers and they'd say the official argument they came up with. Remember, they pay people a lot of money to come up with lies to explain away all these things when there's lawsuits, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So why would they have breakfast at 4 a.m.? Well, their argument was, because we got a lot of guys going to court. And we have to get them all together through security, onto a bus, then to the courthouse and back through another security. The courthouse is in 5 boroughs, traffic, They're supposed to be there at 8:30, 9:30, Well, it's like, okay, that's funny. Because now I'm in a dorm where everyone is sentenced. That means we're not going to court. That means we're sentenced. We're just here 24 hours a day doing our jail time. Try again. But most of the guys in jail are uneducated blacks and Latinos. And so they just lie and cheat. And who's going to stop them? Who's going to stop them? There's no checks and balances against the mayor. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. And just lie about it. The reason why they have breakfast at 4 a.m. is for a number of reasons. One, they know most people would rather sleep. Because remember, lights are out at midnight. Okay? It's not like... It's hard for you to go to bed at 9 if you wanted to get up for breakfast. And breakfast is actually the best meal of the day. They actually say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Don't know if that's true. But when you eat at Rikers, the world's largest concentration camp today, most of the food is horrendous. Moldy bread. You'd get a little bit of yellow corn. Like 4 spoonfuls of yellow corn. That's not even fucking real food. Maybe some shreds of cabbage if you were lucky. Juice, which is actually sugar water, but it's not even high C. There's not even any vitamins in it. It's everything they do is illegal. Everything this fucking super Nazi does is illegal. And who's going to stop him? Because remember, as mayor, he can create as many crimes a day as he wants. That means even if we had somebody policing and checking and balancing this fucking super Nazi, you'd need to hire hundreds of thousands just to police this fucking scumbag. You understand? It's not possible. There's no check. The whole system is built to be completely dirty. The mayor of New York City has fewer checks and balances than the president of the United States. You don't know how fucking scary this super Nazi bullshit is. And no reporter wants to talk about it. They want to tell you whatever happened to the cast of Karate Kid. So, breakfast is the best meal in Rikers. I'm digressing here, but people like to know how you eat in Rikers. I should save it for the Rikers Diaries, but let's throw it in here. In Rikers, breakfast is the best. But now, you go to bed at midnight. That's when the lights are out, okay? Now, before that, there's so much noise in the dorms and everything else like that. It's hard to sleep sometimes. So, you go to bed at midnight. Well, you get to wake up at 4 for breakfast. Or you can choose to skip it, saving them a lot of money. Now, because remember, by law, they have to feed us. But if they make it difficult for us to eat, they don't. Ding, 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 ding. And They sell food in the commissary, so you can buy your own food and snacks. They make money. Ding, 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 ding. You're starting to get a feel that government might be corrupt. Politicians might be corrupt. It's 2011, and almost every person I meet believes that politicians are not corrupt. Again, right? If you voted for Barack Obama, you're a retard because your argument was, well, he's a politician, which means he's a good guy. I'm going to vote for him. Hell, you can vote for Ron Paul. Say he's a politician. You know what? I trust politicians. Even though Ron Paul seems to be more honest than most. Another reason you'd have breakfast at 4 a.m. is because if the guys get up, it keeps the inmates docile. Well, it can keep them underfed, but it also keeps them docile. Sleep deprivation, the U.S. State Department and most nations around the world call sleep deprivation a form of torture. It's how, for instance, the NYPD cheats most confessions. Keep somebody up for 30 hours, questioning them. They're a drooling idiot. Say, listen, you can get bed, we're going to get you some food. Just say you did it. Just tell us the truth. And they're like, after 30 hours, anyone will confess to anything because you're a drooling vegetable. It's a form of torture that leaves no physical proof. Right? Try it sometime. Have you ever been really exhausted and you can't go to sleep and it's physical agony? Now try that for 3 days. Ha ha. They do so many dirty tricks. The NYPD is beyond the Nazis had a lot more class than the NYPD does. But again, news media is not allowed to tell you the truth. So getting back to my points, I can only imagine that Ward's Island is going to be bad in some ways, but we'll see. I have to go through the flames of hell so I can report the truth. Why wouldn't the New York Times say, hey, we want to know what the shelters are like. Let's send one of our reporters in. Where is investigative reporting? Why hasn't 60 Minutes touched this yet? 60 Minutes is a fucking scam unit. Like all media is. It's a scam, people. There's almost no investigative journalism left in America. So loser me has to do it. Plus, if it's halfway decent, I'll stay there for 2 weeks. Then maybe they'll put me somewhere fucking reasonable. Unlikely. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. It's these Nazis. And at least that way, see, again, that's how you know my reports are all accurate. I'm not like other reporters. My shit is first-person eyewitness accounts. Almost everything I report is something I found myself. Okay? Because the media doesn't want to talk about this shit. Or almost any government corruption. And that's why I'm the most accurate reporter in America. That's not saying much. So, also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but in the morning, I might have mentioned it in part 6, but again, they throw out almost all the toiletries, go into the trash, and they wouldn't allow me to take my linens. Now, if you're over 50 and you're going upstairs maybe to a bed for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or maybe more permanently, why wouldn't you just take your linens with you? You only used them one night, but you're not allowed to. Everyone's linens get washed after one night. Does that waste water for the environment? I would say so. Most people would say so. That's why the media is not allowed to talk about it, because Mike Bloomberg, their official rule is they have to always pretend that Mike Bloomberg is Mr. Environmental. And it's catastrophic. And the mayor says, we haven't got any money. Really? Well, then why don't you try saving some money, you fucking lying piece of shit, you piece of fucking garbage. Maybe you should, start with not throwing out all the toiletries. Maybe start with having the people bring their linens in the plastic bag they came in to their assessment. And then maybe you could argue, all right, they're going uptown. These people are going uptown. These people are going to Brooklyn Atlantic's place. So we don't want them taking their linens because they'll just steal that shit and go live under the bridge. Okay, that might be reasonable. But what if they're over 50 and they're staying in the fucking building according to the fucking lies the fucking liar told me? Everything your government... Remember, you think this is something abstract. Every person in America would have a mansion with a fucking swimming pool in it. Indoor or outdoor, their choice. If only government was even 25% more honest than it is. Because they steal trillions of dollars from you every year. You have no clue. And remember, you think, well, my taxes are high. Yeah. No, what? You think that's what you're paying for? Just like your income taxes? And your Social Security tax? You think that's your taxes? That's not even 1% of your taxes, sucker. You're paying taxes More taxes than you'd ever fucking know. Again, if you buy an Apple computer, you're paying 100% of Apple's taxes. You're paying 100% of Apple's payroll taxes. You're paying 100% of Steve Jobs' taxes, his real estate taxes on his mansions. You're paying for all of this, suckers. You're paying all the taxes, suckers. And then the government wastes all your taxes, suckers, when they start fake wars and each bomb is worth millions of dollars. Everything they're stealing from you. They're stealing everything, and you still think I'm making this shit up. They stole everything from you, and you don't get it. Like all slaves throughout human history, you just kneel, and you're going to kneel to the day you die. End of part 7.